Nano Machine has over 200 chapters. It is one of the most read manhwa on every major platform. It has a premise any studio executive can pitch in 10 seconds. And it still does not have an anime adaptation. That is not a permanent situation. That is a timing problem. And timing problems get solved. Let me tell you exactly why Nano Machine is getting an anime. Why I believe an announcement is coming sooner than most people expect. And what that adaptation needs to do to actually be good. First, why Nano Machine works as a story. Cheon Yeowon starts the series as the lowest-ranked bastard son in a major martial arts sect. In the cultivation world that the series is set in, that is about as low as a person can start. Then a nano machine from the future, sent by his descendant, gets injected into his body. The nano machine gives him a heads-up display with combat analysis, accelerated learning for cultivation techniques, and the ability to synthesize poison antidotes and medicine at will. In a world where every advantage is earned through decades of bitter training, he suddenly has access to technology from a civilization thousands of years in the future. What makes this premise work when it could easily be absurd is the internal consistency. The nano machine has limitations. It runs on energy that depletes. It can teach techniques but cannot perform them. Yeowon still has to train. Every advancement has a mechanical cost and a clear rule. 200 chapters later, not one of those rules has been broken. That is an extraordinary achievement for a long-running action manhwa. Now, why has it not been adapted yet? 3 reasons. First, IP licensing complexity. Nano Machine started on Naver Webtoon and later moved to the Kakao ecosystem. When IP rights transition between two of South Korea's largest content platforms, the legal and contractual complexity can hold up adaptation deals for years. This is not a creative problem. It is a paperwork problem. Second, studio bandwidth. The years 2024 through 2025 represent the peak of manhwa adaptation activity. Solo Leveling, Tower of God Season 2, the Omniscient Reader announcement. Every studio capable of handling an action manhwa was already committed. Through 2026 and 2027. The pipeline for Korean Webtoon adaptations is measured in years, not months. Third, the right studio has not committed yet. Nano Machine's combat style requires close-quarters choreography at speed. The studio that takes this on needs to be able to execute action sequences with the same fluidity that Nano Machine's panel composition implies. Mappa would be the dream choice. A1 Pictures could do it. A Crunchyroll co-production with a mid-tier studio is the realistic scenario. Now, the signals. Search volume for Nano Machine anime spiked significantly in late 2025. Without any specific news triggering it. That means organic fan demand is building pressure on its own. The manhwa recently concluded a major story arc, giving any adaptation a clean natural endpoint for a first season. Korean Webtoon adaptations are now a proven global revenue model. Streaming platforms are not asking whether to adapt manhwa anymore. They are asking which manhwa to adapt next. Nano Machine is on that list. It has been for at least 2 years. My prediction, Nano Machine anime announcement before the end of 2026. Studio, most likely a Crunchyroll co-production. Quality target, it needs to be Solo Leveling level or the fandom will not forgive it. What does the adaptation actually need to do right? The Nano Machine interface has to look clean and modern in animation. That HUD display is the entire visual identity of the series. If it looks like a cheap mobile game UI overlay, the whole thing falls apart. The early chapters need tightening. The first 15 chapters are slower than the manga deserves. Animation gives the production team a chance to fix that. With score, pacing, and action editing. The cultivation system logic must be preserved without compromise. The entire value of this story is that its rules are consistent. The moment an adaptation introduces a convenient power-up that violates those rules, it loses the audience that actually read the manhwa. And Cheon Yeowon's character development, the quiet shift from survival to genuine leadership to something approaching legacy, needs to be shown through behavior and choice, not narration. The manhwa does this through visual design changes across chapters. Animation needs to find its own language for that growth. The studio that gets Nano Machine right will own the next solo leveling moment. The studio that mishandles it will spend a decade in the fandom's bad books. When the announcement drops, and I will have a video up within hours. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you catch it immediately. Drop your prediction in the comments. What studio, what year? And what is the one thing the adaptation must get right? See you in the next one.